Good day, and welcome to our series of daily meditation. Today's meditation is entitled God's Divine Tenderness to His Fleeing Prophet. Our meditation comes to us from 1 Kings 19, verses 1 to 3, NIV version. Now Ahab told Jezebel everything Elijah had done, and how he had killed all the prophets with the sword. So Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah to say, "May the gods deal with me, be it ever so severely, if by this time tomorrow I do not make your life like one of them." Elijah was afraid and ran for his life. When he came to Beersheba in Judah, he left his servant there. 1 Kings 19 began with a great contrast to the chapter before. In chapter 18, we saw God showing his mighty power through Elijah with the defeat of the prophets of Baal and the fulfillment of the prophecy of rain. Now Elijah, the mighty man of God, was afraid. How could this be? How could he have not sought God's direction as to what to do after that awesome experience on Mount Carmel? The man of God allowed fear to overcome him as he focused on Jezebel's threat. Faith was not contemplated as fear engulfed this servant of God. It happened to the best of Christians. We often choose to focus on our challenges, threats, and fail to activate our faith. The word tells us that without faith, it is impossible to please God. At that moment, God's anger towards Elijah, who had just experienced his wondrous might on Mount Carmel, could have been kindled in the face of such lack of faith and demonstration of fear. But God exercised his compassion towards Elijah. God did not sanction Elijah fleeing, but he allowed him to flee to Beersheba, which Elijah felt was a place of safety, a place where Jezebel had no rulership. And even while running away, God's tenderness was still extended towards his fleeing servant, as his protection was on Elijah. So too do we often experience God's tenderness, patience, and mercy when we, without consultation and out of fear, hastily determine a course of action which does not bring glory to the Almighty. We also read that Elijah left his servant and fled alone further into the wilderness. Alone? Sometimes in our vulnerable moments, when we should be reaching out to the gracious, prayerful help, strength, and support of others, we put them aside and reel in our pain and grief. God reminds us in his word in Galatians 6 verse 2 to carry each other's burden, and in this way we will fulfill the law of Christ. Let us allow the Lord to minister to us in our moments of fear or vulnerability through his chosen servant. Let's look at God's response each time Elijah took his eyes off him and fled. Elijah took his eyes off the great, omnipotent God and fled. But God showed his tenderness towards his fleeing servant and had mercy and compassion. He took his eyes off the great, omnipotent God and fled. But God, in his tenderness towards his fleeing prophet, rescued him. Elijah took his eyes off the great, omnipotent God and fled. But God, in his tenderness towards his fleeing servant, provided for Elijah. As we struggle with our fears and doubts and sometimes lack of faith, God, in his tender mercies and compassion, will be there and will respond to us in our time of weakness. Let us run to our tender, loving Father instead of fleeing from him. Let us run with faith to our tender and loving Father instead of with fear from him. Let us keep our eyes on our tender and loving Father and run to him, knowing that he will protect us. Let us run to our tender and loving Father with the assurance that he will extend his tender loving care. Our meditation today was written by Deaconess Karen Bowen. God's tenderness to his fleeing prophet.